Have you ever had one of those moments when you were heavily invested in a project and you realize that you're seriously in over your head? You know, one of those times when you decide to paint a wall, for example, but then you realize the new color doesn't match the carpeting. So you decide, hey, I'll take the plunge and invest in some new carpeting. But when you tear it up, you realize that the subfloor has a serious structural issue and you aren't sure what you're going to do next. Actually, that didn't happen to me, but something similar did as I was working on a quick project for all of you this past week. It totally blew up and my timeline is completely out of whack. And I have to say, I'm glad that it did. Stick around and we'll talk about how even this huge challenge that highlights how much I don't know became an opportunity for God to prove that He's got my back. Welcome to Longing for More, where Christians come to strengthen their faith, revive their soul, and learn to live their lives with a sense of fulfillment and peace. Listen each week to learn how to incorporate your faith into your daily activities, stop wandering through life feeling empty and unfulfilled, and begin to live your more. Let's get started. It all started out when I got this great idea for a series of shows to help you be intentional about what your new post-COVID-19 life will look like. I decided to create a template for you to dig deep into what your new normal can look like instead of simply going back to your former stress-filled ho-hum or is this all there is life. I got excited when one of my mentors, Amy Porterfield, offered a quick course on how to develop a killer offering. So I decided to take her up on her quick and easy solution to my project. Note, I said quick and easy. Apparently, her definition and mine are completely different. My first step into the rabbit hole was part of her course came with a free tutorial on how to build a website from scratch. I'll be honest, I think that was the lure that got me. You see, I haven't been happy with my website for quite a while. We don't need to go into all the details of why I'm not happy with it. But let's just leave it at starting over from scratch sounded like exactly the solution to reaching some of my goals. That is the part where I was talking about how simple a paint job turns into redoing your foundation. So listen up. 2 days into my new website, I realized that I was in way over my head and was truly struggling with the decision as to whether I scrap the whole new site altogether and put it on the back burner or hire someone to get me through this rough spot. Let's just say I now appreciate all of those half-finished DIY projects people have around their houses and understand how they can get stuck and never get finished. I was completely stuck and had no idea what to do. So the new me did what she does. I doubled down on my prayer about the situation. Now, don't get me wrong, I'd been praying about this process all along. Something I'd really not done when I created my first website. God and I have been in this, what I thought was a pretty constant communication, and I felt like I was really walking in the path that He wanted me to. So why on earth was this so darned hard? That morning, I was beginning to doubt that I had heard Him correctly at all when I thought He had encouraged me to take this project on, and was determined to make my decision and either scrap the whole project or keep moving forward that day. I had one of my mastermind sessions that morning, and I was going to dig into fixing my problem immediately following the session with my small group. I casually asked a related but not direct question about my situation in my group, and one of the gals mentioned a free intensive course on how to create a website that she had used. Not a glassed-over 10-minute version that I had gotten before, but a true tutorial created for amateurs just like me. I had no idea such a course was an option, but it was exactly what I needed. I was so grateful that God answered that question so thoroughly and so immediately. When was the last time He did that for you? I'll bet He does it all the time. I know He does for me, but sadly, I get so wrapped up in my mess that I don't even notice His handiwork in my life sometimes. And that is one of the things that I plan to do differently in my new normal. I plan to slow down and be more aware of His presence in my life and notice the time He simply hands me what I need when I need it. Not when I think I need it or when I think He should provide it, but when I really need it. That is what trusting in Him and having faith in Him is all about, isn't it? That knowing that He's got our back and is providing everything we need, even when we're in over our head. And He did it again this morning. So I've been planning to start my series on creating a new normal today, but as you already know, it isn't happening just yet. As a result, I didn't really have a topic prepared to share with you when it came time to record this session. The idea that kept coming up for me was building a strong foundation, kind of like having to get all the way to the subfloor and then realizing that putting in new carpeting wouldn't be a good idea if the subfloor was warped. So guess what the topic of my Abide meditation was this morning? Yep, it was on building a strong foundation. I feel that God was telling me to slow down and make sure that the foundation of my business is solid and built on trust in Him, and to build on His principles and goals, not mine and certainly not those that the world values. When I began my business and created my current website, I was focused on all the wrong things. Sure, many of the same ideas were there, but they were based on things that I thought would make me a lot of money, not things that really mattered. I started out on a foundation built on what others told me would work, and not on what God would have guided me to had I simply asked. So this time, I'm asking, and I'm taking action, even when it doesn't make sense. These days, my message is all about trusting God and gaining His peace that is beyond what we can understand. But it's also about going beyond just hearing and repeating what He says, and it's all about putting His guidance into action. So I'm doing just that, and I'm literally conferring with Jesus like I would a coworker in my previous life, asking Him what He thinks about this or that idea, or whether He thinks I should choose this font or that one. And what is crazy about all of that is that it isn't necessarily easier than it's been in the past. I just feel more confident and better equipped to do the work. As a result, I'm less stressed and more relaxed knowing that this project will be complete exactly when it should be, and those who will need it with creating a life of purpose and meaning will find it when it's right for them. So if you are feeling overwhelmed by something today, pray through it. Ask God to show you what His plan is for your work, and then wait for His answer. And be prepared to be blown away with His response and how He will guide you in the direction He wants you to go. I love how Jim Rohn says it. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. I'd like to put a little different perspective on it and pray, Lord, help me to be better, not that it would be easier. Every challenge, problem, and trouble that comes our way is an opportunity to become a better person. Or as James says in chapter 1, verse 2 and 3, it's an opportunity for joy and a chance to grow. Truly, friend, that is where we all are now in this time as we transition out of our stay-at-home life and our new, freer post-COVID life. We are experiencing an opportunity to grow, to invite Jesus to show us how we can intentionally create a new life based on His principles and His values and live a life of fulfillment and peace. I've been rebuilding my foundation now for some time, and though it doesn't make sense by the world's standards, the deeper I go into this endeavor, the more convinced I become that it is the only way to go, even, and maybe even especially, when I'm in over my head. So I hope you'll join me. Depending on when you listen to this, there may or may not be a document on my website at vannajohnson.com to guide you through the process of creating a new normal. But it's coming sometime in the month of June 2020, and I trust that when it's released, it will be a tool to help you refocus your life and to create a life of peace and fulfillment. But regardless of when you listen to this, that topic will be relevant because we can always do life better, can't we? Foundations are the most important part of any structure, and to do them right, it takes time. I care too much about you to hurry through this, just as I feel your life is too valuable for you to continue to hurry through without thought for eternal consequences of your actions. Thank you for stopping by today. I know your time is valuable, and it means a lot to me that you spent this time with me. To prepare for your new life, I ask that you begin to notice the things that bring you peace and joy, and the things that give you energy, and those that drain your energy. You'll be able to use that information when you get your guide. Let's see where all this knowing will take us, shall we? I hope you will subscribe to the show on your favorite platform so you won't miss any of the episodes that are coming. Until then, go, be blessed, stay safe, and live your more.